What up, nerds, and welcome to another sexually charged episode of Straight Chilling, the weekly horror movie review show where you chill and we kill, slice, dice, and chop up yet another horror movie. My name is Bob. I'll be your host for the evening. This is episode 447, recorded Sunday, October 29th, 2023. Tonight we're talking about another Patreon pick. This was chosen by the one, the only Gabriel. The movie is Fear from 1996. Before we get into it, let me introduce everyone else on the show. First up, calling in from Washington, D.C., we got your boy Randeezy. What's up, man?
Fucking idiot.
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Dude, that intro, you fucking broke my brain with that intro.
Yeah,
Behind the
probably
scenes.
should have forewarned you. I was a little worried that you wouldn't make call time here for a second.
Fucking killed me.
But
that's a YouTube
behind the scenes,
exclusive.
YouTube.
Yeah, watch that shit.
Watch my nudity.
Nudity, sexually charged. Last but not least, calling in from Seoul, South Korea, we got your boy Soju. What's up, man?
Oh, what up? It's your boy all the time in the world, Stains, boys. I got all the time in the world.
Oh my god, dude. Your background is prominently featuring the logo for Wahlburgers.
Of course, yeah. I mean, isn't this film just one big Wahlburger commercial?
It is. I forget what episode we were talking about Marky Mark on extensively, but that was the show I found out Wahlburgers was a restaurant chain that the Wahlberg family owned. I never heard of it. They sell burgers.
And then me and you were watching the show when I was in town. I remember us watching an episode. It was ridiculous.
It was last winter, I guess. But the fucking Wahlburgers logo just is a nutsack. It looks like balls.
It's a nutsack.
It's just balls.
It does.
It's absolutely balls because they were walking around with hats that just had balls on.
It's like, why are they?
I want to fuck. It's my big dick. So everybody get ready fucking now.
Why do they have balls on their hats? What is
on their burgers, on their fries? You know, just slap some balls on everything.
Dude, this family.
Teabagging is more than just a little game to the Wahlburger family. It's a tradition.
It's a
business.
Oh yeah. It's a burger
clearly
business.
just nutsack swinging.
It's just balls.
Big old doinks.
It's just balls. Fuck.
Those are balls.
Those are
That's what I think of every time.
Yeah.
Those are balls. The
Barry
way he says
Zuckerkorn nailed it.
balls.
Those are balls. The greatest. Arrested Development.
Check it
for
out.
all
Check
you
it out.
people with lives.
It's
That's what it's from.
Fucking funny. Oh, boys. All right, let's tackle a little housekeeping real quick. So there's just a couple days left in the month of October, so you can still vote for the November poll. But I mean, this show is going to drop November 1st, so the poll will be closed. It looks like Attack of the Killer Tomatoes is going to clinch it for the November poll. We're probably going to be talking about that very soon. But that does mean we got a brand new poll posted on our Patreon website. If you support us at the $5 level or above, you get the chance to vote on a movie we're talking about this December. The theme for the December poll is merriment and murder, and the three movies to vote between are Yule Log, Silent Night, and Christmas, Bloody Christmas.
Whoa.
Damn.
Boys, getting into the Christmas season now.
And
How do you feel about that? Halloween hasn't even wrapped yet. How do you
Juice
feel about that,
is
Bob?
setting you up for the bitch sesh of a lifetime, Bob. Here you go. Platform is yours.
I'm all right. I feel satisfied. Honestly, I feel like I'm going to breathe a sigh of relief. We can all just chill out.
Whoa, Bob.
Just chill out.
Whoa.
You know, we did
I
it.
feel every year.
We did the thing, and now we can just relax, kind of.
You know, it's good to see you maturing, Bob. It's very good.
I know you've already gotten over your post-Halloween depression, pre-Halloween.
Grow up.
Never. We're getting in the Christmas season, the Thanksgiving and Christmas season. Nobody's voted on these movies yet because the poll is not live yet. But just to clarify, that Silent Night movie is the Silent Night from last year, 2022, brand new movie.
There's some confusion.
And that And that Yule log is the Adult Swim Yule log for the record.
Yeah,
well.
I guess there's a lot
clarity
of confusion
required
going on here.
Yeah,
I think Keira Knightley is in Silent Night.
She is.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
We had to go looking for some posters.
I think is in it. The kid from Jojo Rabbit's in it.
It should all be made very clear on the poll when you look at it, but just for audio purposes to clarify, that those are the movies you're voting on. All new
Get
releases.
hype for these movies. We have to clarify ad nauseum.
What are they talking about? I don't fucking know.
Yule log.
Get those votes in for the end of November, the month that has not started yet. In other Patreon news, we're dropping another mini cast on November 8th. That's going to be the next one. And the movie is a Netflix joint called El Conde.
Oh, yeah.
You were talking about
Oh.
this. Yeah.
I forgot I recorded that one. That was that was a highlight from the year for me. Mostly because I went in completely blind. It's a vampire movie on Netflix. It's in black and white. It's in a couple different languages. I'm trying to remember now.
I think Netflix
Spanish,
categorized it
French.
as Chilean.
Yeah, it is.
That sounds right.
It's at least filmed in Chile. So yeah, it's I think mostly in Spanish, but there's a lot of French, and then they sometimes speak in English. Anyways, it's on Netflix though, so it's easily accessible. And yeah, I like that one quite a bit actually. That one kind of surprised me. I don't want to say too much about it, but it's kind of about it's a vampire tale about someone who kind of like lives forever and like what you might do with that kind of power and where it leads you in the end.
Nothing crazy, I'm sure.
The single most thrilling experience of my whole life.
Boner alert.
Just real straightforward lifestyle, you know?
Nothing crazy. Just eating at Wahlburgers every single night of your life.
Whoa, damn, yeah.
Wahlberg lifer.
Ball burgers. The last thing we got as far as Patreon is concerned, we do have a brand new Patreon supporter we got to give mad shouts outs to. A big ol' thank you goes out to Emilio for signing up on Patreon and showing us some love. Every dollar you guys contribute goes right back into the show. As is tradition around these here parts, we owe Emilio the straight chilling salute. This one goes out to you.
Slap me in the ass.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for slapping me in the ass.
Inside the ass. We love it. That's all I got. Do you guys have anything you need to plug, need to mention?
I just want to say a big thanks and shouts outs to everyone who came out to our trivia night. Actually, our whole kind of like game Halloween party night this past Saturday, the 28th, here in Seoul. It was a lot of fun out here at the DCC Cafe. It was a full day starting around noon of spooky gaming. We played Nightmare. We played some Scooby-Doo D&D. We played a new game that they're developing for the Dark Side of Soul and Dread. It was a lot of fun. And then we finished the night off with a round of horror movie trivia, and that was intense. We went into like 5 rounds of lightning round bonus.
Damn.
There was
thunderstorm round.
Yeah, dude, there was 2 teams going head to head, and it was fierce, but it was a lot of fun. A lot of people came out, and there was some good spooky drink specials and everything like that. So yeah, shouts out to the Dark Side of Soul for being there and hosting a lot of the games and helping out with trivia, and to the DCC Cafe for hosting us. And yeah, thanks for everyone who came out. It was a lot of fun. Good way to kind of wrap up the spooky season. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
A great success indeed.
I think that's all my housekeeping. Just some shouts outs.
Cool. Randy?
Yeah, and I got nothing. I'm all set.
Squeaky clean.
This house is clean.
All right, let's get into the main event. We're talking fear and kicking it off with the back of the box.
What's on the back of the box?
Boys, here we go. Fear. 1996, rated R with a runtime of an hour and 37 minutes. I do have the box, by the way, right here.
Whoa. Wow, that's a slick looking box.
Look at that. It looks like a VHS, but it's not. It's a Blu-ray.
Whoa, what a
Wow.
tease. What a
But what am I going to
sight.
play it on? My VHS can't handle that.
Check it out. Ooh, it's a Blu-ray. Mediaception. You don't even know.
That's
As
really
long as it
fascinating
has
because
a
it's
digital download. That's all that matters, bro.
That's well, yeah.
Whatever.
That's interesting to me though, because it's like not a movie that's like excessively of its time. Like a lot of it is, but it's not like a movie about that necessarily.
No.
about the 90s.
Not about being the 90s. So it's a weird
very
choice to make it a
90s
very-
movie.
It's pretty 90s. Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, how the level of Bush that's in this soundtrack is.
Dude, it is to the brim with Bush.
I can't identify Bush from other. So
Oh, Randy. I'm so sorry. We're talking
Yeah.
fear. This was directed by James Foley, written by Christopher Crowe, stars Mark Wahlberg, Reese Witherspoon, William Peterson, and some other folks. Plot synopsis brought to you by the back of the box is as follows. First, love can be innocent or intense, intoxicating or insatiable. Mark Wahlberg, Reese Witherspoon, and Elisa Milano star in this riveting suspense thriller about a passionate romance that soon becomes a deadly obsession. Nicole Walker always dreamed of being swept away by someone special, someone strong, sexy, and sensitive who could care for her more than anything else in the world. David is all that and more, a modern-day knight who charms and seduces her body and soul. But her perfect boyfriend is not all he seems to be. His sweet facade masks a savage, darker side that will soon transform Nicole's dream into a nightmare. Gentlemen, had you seen this movie before, and would you recommend people check it out? Randeezy, kick us off.
No, this is definitely a fresh watch for me. I had not heard of this movie. The title is not like, it's a little generic titled, so I guess maybe it's been brought up around me and I just didn't remember. But I have definitely never seen it. I think that yes, there is some 90s nostalgia in this that's worth going to the well for. If you are the type of person that enjoys your Wahlbergs, that is present. Reese is also present. Gil Grissom from CSI is present. That is my recommendation. Is if any of those things make your pickle tickle, then go for it. Otherwise, I don't have a strong recommendation for this now.
Oh my god, sexy. Juice, what about you?
Okay, so this crazy thing is when you said, next week we're watching Fear, I was like, I have no idea what that is. I don't know anything about that. And then I went to go pull it up and I saw the poster and I was like, whoa, flooding back. I mean, I immediately knew the major beats, not all the smaller details.
She's been traumatized. Is she okay?
Yeah, so I remember that at some point, I saw this when I was really young. I think when my mom and my aunt were probably watching it. It was probably one of those things I shouldn't have been, like watching or around for. But
Yeah, I think so.
How'd
you take the fingering scene?
Well, I remembered it as the movie was unfolding, then I was like, oh shit, oh my God, I remember all of this. So yeah, I had seen it before, and but I mean, not for a long, long time. And man, I think this is a time capsule for the 90s. I'll tell you, I was cracking up at this movie. I had a great time watching this. It was entertaining me so much. And so I would recommend as kind of a 90s time capsule. I think it is fucking weird and quirky. And I'll kind of, I'll get more into it. In a kind of way, it's this kind of big fail for me in the same kind of way like Troll 2 or, the slumber party. No, not slumber party massacre. Sleepaway Camp. Sorry. Sleepaway Camp. It just got these huge fails for me, but they're so 90s and it's so funny.
What did you do to me, Daddy?
Yeah, exactly.
God
Yeah.
damn.
So I would recommend, actually. I just had a lot of fun watching this. Bob, how about you? Had you ever seen this before? Would you recommend?
This was a first time watch for me, for sure. Actually, brother Mikey had recommended this to me a couple months ago when we were talking about stuff on Let's Get Physical Media, and he picked this up. I was like, man, I never heard of that before. So I did actually buy it, and I hadn't watched it yet, and it just so happens we're talking about it now for the show. So it's first time watch, and I don't know that I can say this is like a good movie, but it is hella entertaining. I was not bored for a minute while watching this movie. I was very, very entertained. So if you want to watch some sort of like very weird, erotic thriller that is about teenagers, throw it on, man. Like,
Apply yourself to prison first.
Yeah,
and then
the 90s
It's
were
about
wild.
one teenager.
there's a
really.
registry for you.
Everybody else is an adult.
That's not
Well,
true.
That's
But it's weird. The 90s were a wild time. This movie's anything but boring. You'll be entertained. I say throw it on. Give it a one-time watch for sure. That sounds like a decent recommend, I guess. Medium.
Sounds like a caveated recommend from
Medium.
you guys and less of one from me.
All right. So, yeah, watch it. It's weird as fuck. Watch it.
It's so weird.
We are going to spoil this movie called Fear. And here is your warning.
Spoiler warning.
You know, I gotta say, I'm a little jealous that you guys had such a good time with this movie.
Oh man, I had so much fun. The next night I was like, man, I kind of want to watch Fear.
You said that on the Slack. I was like, God damn, what am I getting into here?
I don't know if I need to watch it again.
I'm sorry.
But like,
Oh my! The audacity of something, or just the choices that were made, are just absurd most of the time. Bob, please tell us the plot synopsis. I can't wait to talk about this movie. Let's get into it.
Respond!
all right, here's the full plot synopsis for Fear from 1996. 16-year-old Nicole lives in Seattle with her father, Stephen, her stepmother, Laura, and stepbrother, Toby. Nicole meets an older boy named David at a rave and quickly falls for him. David meets the parents and charms the mother, but Nicole's father is suspicious of him. Her parents have to leave work one weekend, and Nicole immediately invites David over, and they bang. They also say they love each other. The next day, David sees Nicole hugging her friend Gary at school, and he beats Gary mercilessly, giving Nicole a black eye in the process. The dad forbids Nicole from seeing David after he finds out that he hit her. We get a glimpse of David's home life, and he seems to be living with a small group of friends who regularly engage in various levels of debauchery. David finds Nicole at her friend Margot's pool, and he apologizes for what happened. She eventually does forgive him. Dad does a little research about David's background, finds that he lied about his past. Dad confronts David, and David verbally assaults the dad about his career, his fatherhood, and his manhood. Dad forbids him from seeing Nicole, drives away in his sweet little Mustang. David immediately starts pounding on his own chest over and over again. We next see Nicole yelling at her father for laying hands on David, as he has shown her a very large, albeit self-inflicted bruise on his chest. One night, Nicole drives over to David's house and sees Margot smoking some crack and banging one of David's friends. David then forces Margot to say she'd rather sleep with him and then carries her upstairs. David finds Nicole at school the next day and she runs away from him. She confronts Margot about what she saw. David also confronts Margot and tells her that she has to make Nicole understand or else he's going to hurt her. David asks Dad to let him in the house so he can explain himself to the family and Nicole. The dad refuses. David gives himself a really sick tattoo on his chest that says Nicole, the number 4, and then Eva, EVA. And shortly after that, he completely destroys Dad's pretty little Mustang. He also chases Nicole's friend Gary into the woods and snaps his fucking neck. Dad borrows a car from his friend, drives over to David's house, and finds creepy pictures and other stolen items from his daughter and their house. Dad then trashes David's house. David's crew are all super pissed and want to get back at whoever ruined their property. They besiege Nicole's home, killing the dog, and they attempt to break down windows and doors. A neighborhood security guard approaches sandwiches and attempts to arrest David. Dad comes out to help, and one of the other jabronis walks up and shoots and kills the security guard. They take Dad as a hostage and gain entry to the house. The kid brother runs over one of the goons in a car. David shoots another goon in the head who is trying to rape Nicole. David says a bunch of super weird stuff about this being their wedding day, and Nicole can't have both him and her father in her life. Dad and David brawl, and Dad yeets the ever-loving shit out of David through a second-story window, and he flies like 30 feet out to his death. The family all hug, and the credits roll. What a fucking weird movie this is.
There's gonna be some hell to pay here!
He goes flying.
He goes
He does fly.
He's flying. What if this Wahlburger started flying up?
Like the action sequence that precedes it is very confusing, and then you just see him like catapult out the window. That's true. And then he lands like inches away from the water on a big fucking slab.
He turns into the fucking Hulk all of a sudden and just throws a grown man like 30 fucking feet. It is insane. What an ending to this movie.
Oh, there's so many moments in this movie that it feels like parent porn. It feels like some
it
dad,
doesn't feel like a Lifetime movie.
Dad wrote this.
It feels like a Lifetime movie for dads.
I'm sure a dad wrote it. I'm
It's-
sure. I mean,
It
Gil
just
Grissom's
feels-
ass is all over
The
this
details, like they skip school to go to this place to get some lunch, and they meet this like bad.
shit. Yeah.
They're like ordering a Sammy.
they also like they're like shooting pool. It's like a lunch spot with pool tables or some shit. It's like it's a bar, I guess. I don't know. It's a weird
it's like
situation.
a bar that serves.
It's
lunch.
simultaneously the Roadhouse from Twin Peaks where people are fucking in the booths and also a nice little coffee spot with sandwiches.
It did
Oh
feel
my
Both.
God.
It's
What-
both the Roadhouse and a Double R diner at the same time.
one of the scenes in this movie that did make me think it was like some sort of like weird male fantasy. Like the dude that was writing it was like, "Oh yeah, that'd be super cool, right?" Is that when Margot is like bending over and shows her entire ass to the dad?
Dude, to the dad,
Their
yeah.
asses are out always. in
Yeah,
this
yeah.
movie.
That's
So I assume, please tell me if I'm wrong, but when Gil Grissom is like, "Oh, can we get you some new clothes? That looks like something you'd wear when you were 12." Like I that was a weird critique, and it's like I thought they was going to be like the trope of dads like, "Oh, you're too revealing. Put on some clothes," sort of thing.
Yeah.
But it was so oddly phrased, I wasn't sure.
I
Did you
took
say it was too small?
I took it as the opposite. It's like it almost felt like, oh, that's not
Right.
adult enough. It's not revealing enough. Or it's like you need to show off what you.
What'd you do with that brassiere I got you, honey?
Yeah, it's hey, you're 16. It's time to show the cleavage. Or like he's like,
I don't know, man. It was
this is a
very
weird
strange. Like,
moment.
Dude, there's also at the very beginning, I was like, whoa, what the fuck? It's got this kind of butterfly kisses moment where they're talking and they do these like little nicknames, and the 16-year-old daughter calls her dad like my little tangerine or something, and I was like,
I missed
what
that. I guess
the
that's fucking
fuck?
weird.
Yeah, they were having a
It's like a
discussion.
pet
They were kind
name
of going,
thing.
yeah, it was like he said my little something, and she goes, oh yeah,
Princess
my
or
little
something.
tangerine, and I was like, what the fuck is going on?
it's like I don't know, pet names when you're a kid or whatever, and then but the thing is, like, she's like 16 and he's I don't know, like at a certain point it starts to be a little strange to me to call your daughter a little princess. I don't have kids, and I'm sure that every fucking other dad in the world is like, don't you dare, it's an innocent thing, and I'm sure it is, but it seems weird from an outside perspective.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
And it doesn't seem authentic. Tangerine, like, is not the thing I think a kid would call their dad. My little tangerine
you
seems
don't
very
get
strange
it,
to me.
Randy. Okay,
And
I
then just
definitely don't.
also too,
That's accurate.
we've kind of made this kind of joke before, but even with Christmas season coming up, mostly, Tim Allen movies, but movies in the 90s in general about these shitty ass dads that come out on top. They really turn it around after they've been divorced and really shitty to their kids and neglect them or whatever. And this kind of has elements of that, and even the little moments at the beginning of the stepson, he's like, oh, he called me dad. I'm gonna drop him off at school or whatever. It's got this like huge bias kind of built into it to where I just can't ignore the fact that just like a middle-aged sad kind of man I think wrote this.
No, I thought the same thing.
He's the fucking hero of the movie. You're right, dude, because like
he starts whooping ass.
He's like the detective fucking dad hot on the trail, and he like totally confronts David and goes over to trashes David's house and then fucking yeets him to death, and like he
also sucks though.
He's not a great dad, but he's
like, he sucks as a dad, but also like as a decision maker, not a smart guy. Makes a lot of fucking dumb calls. Like he's like destroying these. Like, I understand going and like investigating, this guy's home life or whatever in that moment, because it was very dire at that moment. Things were getting real dangerous and all that shit. But like, I'm going to just break all these people's shit. Like, do you think nothing will come of that? Like, what? Yeah. You're having trouble getting him arrested for assaulting your daughter right now. And you think that this is going to help the case? I don't think so, man. You got to be smarter than that shit.
Yeah. Well, also, it's so ridiculous because, like, where are the police? This man constantly comes to this high school and beats up one of the students in front of everyone.
There's no security at this school.
And he winds up dead the next day.
Yeah.
The same guy.
If there's a grown man,
he's in a women's room with a fucking witness holding her captive, and she's saying help.
Dude, that scene is insane, by the way. That is fucking insane.
Yeah.
He's like, that is a very crowded mall. You can't tell me there's not one security guard in shouting distance for that lady to be like, oh, we need help in here, or some shit. Like, and then, X leads to Y, etc. And then he does talk to the police at that point on the phone, but they're like, you can't. He's like, I can't keep her locked up like a prisoner. It's like, why not for a day, please?
She's 16.
The shit that Wahlberg says in that bathroom stall is like fucking crazy. He's like, you can't understand me with your heart or your mind. You got to understand me with your vagina. People are jealous of what we have, and it's just like,
dude,
what is happening?
Dude, every line that he says is absurd, pretty much. It's ridiculous. I was saying, like, pretty much every line he says would make a hilarious bump. And also just the way he carries
it's my big dick, so everybody get ready fucking now.
Yeah.
And the way he kisses her, like their first kiss, or he like starts like French kissing her cheek, or like just open mouth kissing her cheek.
He's like a fucking snail just suckling on this side of her face for a minute.
And also to just them going to this rave or whatever. Again, it's just like the idea of what somebody thinks of something that could happen that they're not a part of in any kind of way.
It is. That's so. I mean, it's so true. This is like so from a dad perspective, like a conservative dad perspective too.
Yeah.
Because God help us, there are men making out with other men here. Jesus Christ!
It was the 90s,
yeah, dude. It was. My 16-year-old daughter shan't be doing such things. No, sir.
Also, and the helicopter to come bust up a party. They've got that.
Dude, and what the fuck was that? In a span of like a minute and a half, Marky Mark's boyfriend or whatever, who he lives with, his friend, like gets into a little brawl. Yeah. Alyssa, by the way, not Alisa. Alyssa Milano runs away, and everybody just starts scattering. People start like just taking breaking shit, and then people are climbing out the windows and up the fucking stairs out onto the roof, and there's a police. Like, what happened?
It escalates.
I don't understand what that scene was. Like,
I don't know.
Like, the police were really on top of it.
There's a small
There's a fist fight in Sector 3. Go!
The smallest fight ever, and the SWAT team just descends. I love that they
everybody lost their shit.
It's like they call it like a fetish rave party, and it's just like some kids dancing to techno. It's like nothing too crazy at all. The fetish.
That's a fetish.
That was
Dancing's
awesome too. Just because I put this note. I was like, how old is that man who's got the goatee? It's like, how old is this
45.
guy?
Oh yeah,
he looks oldish.
He looks like a fucking a hired a henchman from an action movie. Like he looks like John Wick is about to like bust his face in.
But him techno dancing was a choice, man. I loved it. Just this old ass man.
It was Donald Trump level dancing. It was very funny.
God damn.
Dude, this movie's great. It's so entertaining.
It's funnier in retrospect talking to you guys about it. I was a little hungover watching this movie, so I had a bad beer scenario going on.
Oh, no.
But it is funny in retrospect. I'll give you that. But at the time, I was like, what is happening? Why the police are just here now? And they're just shining lights on them. There's no police on the ground, just a chopper. Because kids are dancing at a party.
Get them. Shortly after that, whenever they like drive away, and Nicole's like, "Hey, isn't this the car they discontinued because it was just blowing up?"
What the fuck was that?
I guess that's why I bought her. It's not her fault they made her wrong. That shit is gold. That whole conversation is gold.
I don't understand, because that is like, to me, I was like, okay, so this car's exploding in this movie. They set up a Chekhov's gun that never goes off.
Didn't.
Did they do that just to break format? What was the purpose of that?
Just to prove that
it's to make him a badass, to be like,
edgy.
I like I like the broken girls.
It's not their fault.
Is it to make him seem charming? Because I don't see that as charming. I don't.
That's what they were trying to do.
That's what a middle-aged conservative dad might see as something a teenage girl might be charmed by. I could see that. Gil Grissom is probably like, oh yeah, he takes care of his car, huh? Well, he sounds pretty good to me. What the fuck?
I've never been wetter in my life. This car might explode at any moment.
Dude, speaking of that fucking roller coaster scene, it was like came flooding back to me. Obviously, I didn't know what was going on back in the day, but I was just the fucking song choices. I
love that song too. I genuinely love that song. It's a great song, and it was like such a skeevy moment. I was like, this is dissonance. There is some serious dissonance here.
That shit is so fucking funny.
It's so funny.
The most thrilling experience of my whole life.
There's also,
and they recall it back.
Yeah, I was going to say there's another moment where they're having sex and they just play Wild Horses again. It's like their fuck theme is Wild
their bang
Horses.
Song.
It's
put on the bang tune.
Love it.
Not a very horny song, but
put on Wahlberg's banging playlist.
It's
Put it on shuffle.
It's Bush and Wild
just
Horses.
25.
That's
yeah.
it.
They just pound the bush, and it's just song after song after song.
He really
after
does
song.
pound the bush.
It's just all
true.
bush,
which I'm largely okay with. I like some Bush, you know.
Yeah, actually, okay. The first time I took a note somewhere on here. I'll find it later. But the first Bush, I put Bush on the soundtrack. Can't hold it against him. But that was the first time. And then they played like 3 more Bush songs. And I was like, okay.
They could afford like 4 songs and they fucking used them like a lot.
Yeah, it's like they bought the rights to that whole album because they were just playing the track.
I mean, this is the era where like soundtracks were a viable source of income, and they were definitely going to put it out.
It legit was just like the Bush album.
Yeah, kind of.
But
I guess I mean I couldn't clock that as well as you. I don't think I've ever listened to that album that you're talking about. But
yeah,
I've heard,
I know it.
I recognize a lot of the songs, and if they're all Bush, then I just didn't know that.
It's all Bush all the time, Randy. Don't you know?
Oh yeah. Also, too, I loved. There's a couple scenes. One when he's just laying in his own bed. I think it's the first time we get a look at his room or whatever. And there's just like this crucifix on the wall, but then also his own mugshot is on the wall.
You're quasi-even.
I missed that. I guess it's.
Oh man, just the choices that are made. It's like somebody thought they were just so clever about putting all of these like pieces together.
It really does. Like the more I think about it, it is absolutely Lifetime TV melodrama for dads, and it's only not on TV because they wanted to show some TNA. And that's it. Like they just wanted to squeeze in a scene of, Alyssa Milano showing her ass to her best friend's dad. Really getting ahead of the Billie Eilish curve with that shit.
Fucking weird. And also like Mark Wahlberg sees it happen and kind of like smiles at the dad like,
Oh, you like that, don't you? That's really cool. I like seeing booties too. It's really nice.
It's fucking weird.
Also, to his little speech to him, like when he's waiting for him outside the school or whatever, and they go, and before he starts beating himself, just like, and your wife, she's all on my stick or whatever. It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous.
Biggest star here, man. That's the way it is.
She's all on my stick. And she kind of was like flirting with him, though. It was a strange moment. Like you hear them like
when he started goosing her in the bathing suit, I would never have the fucking balls to go up to my girlfriend's mom and goose her while she's wearing a bathing suit.
Oh, Randy,
what the fuck?
You gotta goose the mom. You gotta do it.
I know you guys
cut from a
different
so
immediately
all bets are off.
Immediately after that, he starts making out with Nicole, and while he's making out with her, he's making direct eye contact with the dad. That's the creepiest fucking thing. That's so fucking weird, dude. It's
Also, the mom is all over the place on this because at first she's like, take that makeup off. You look like a slut. And then she knows she got hit in the face and she's helping her fix her black eye. And then she's defending the guy to the dad where she's like, you're just being, sensitive or overprotective. I'm like, whoa, wait a second. Where's this woman coming from?
She kind of turns on a dime a number of times, but at this, I kind of thought that was not totally an authentic feeling because people she's trying to navigate being a stepmom or whatever. She overstepped and she kind of realized that she got a stern lecturing from the father figure about the way she speaks to her sister. I mean, daughter. And then she after that starts trying to help her. She has a black eye. She's like, okay, I'll help you out or whatever. I don't know. She oscillates. And I think that's something that a step parent might do if they have a contentious relationship they're trying to repair.
She makes more of an effort,
daughter.
notably. So maybe she's just trying to help out her stepdaughter. I guess that makes kind of sense, but also it doesn't really matter that much. This movie's insane.
They don't spend enough time on it for it to feel totally earned. I'll give it that.
Yeah. What else?
What are you giggling about?
The lines. I'm just going through my notes. I'm trying to pick out what I want to. There's so many just laugh faces next to lines. So I licked her sweet teeth. Also, there was the Nicole forever.
Dude, that is the moment that me and Beck both definitely cackled out loud for several minutes.
Oh my god, that shit looks so stupid.
For Eva is the funniest fucking thing that could have possibly. He fucking prison tattooed fucking this thing on his chest and it never shows up again. It never comes up. He never shows it to her or anything. It's just to do that, maybe just to show off some Marky Mark's pecs a little bit more. I don't know.
For us.
Also, so the thing about where I was like, this is hilarious, but then there is this scene where he, forces her friend or whatever while she's riding this other guy to say you want me or whatever, and I guess rapes her. Fuck? So, but then the very next scene, I wrote this note. A woman who was just raped, a teenager, a teenager who was just raped says this to a child.
Yes.
When are you going to grow up so I can ravage you? I was
going to bring that up.
That was insane.
Who is writing this?
If you didn't have a problem with this friend already, now you do. It's all it takes. Could you please not sexualize my 9-year-old stepbrother? That's a little much.
Purpose at all?
It doesn't.
An uncomfortable.
It's so weird.
Laterno shit. But I don't know. And then the whole but then it also does this thing where she's she's caught, right? And Reese Witherspoon's giving her the business or whatever. And she's she watched her friend get forced into her boyfriend's bed.
Yeah.
On fear of physical assault. She's crying and gets dragged off by her hair like a goddamn Cro-Magnon. And it's she acts like that's not what happened, that she just willingly went along with it or whatever. She acts like her friend's just a bad friend. It's your friend was raped, my friend. You gotta fucking think about this for a second. And she's you're my only friend. And that's the first time in the whole movie that I was okay, Alyssa Milano's not such a piece of shit, because she was totally a piece of shit up until those couple scenes. That kind of turned it around.
Yeah, she's definitely not there for her friend. She tells her to basically stop thinking and just do whatever the fuck she wants to. But you find out she must be addicted to crack or in there just abusing her in their home, and it's a pretty gnarly situation overall. And it does explain her character quite a bit. Like at first you're like, why is this person doing these insane things, making out with this this creepy stranger like at a fair and showing her ass to this dad, and like it explains it to some degree.
It's very erratic shit. I mean, did she actually do drugs? Because the guy was doing drugs, but do they show her doing it?
Yeah, I think they were like passing the pipe. I think.
I mean, you're probably right.
You're probably right. I can't really remember.
Either way, she's clearly like this is again like the conservative dad thing, because she has absentee parents. The mom is off fucking people for money. So what is the daughter gonna do? Of course she doesn't have any
your daughter hanging out with.
Clean your room.
Yeah,
dude.
She doesn't have a overbearing father at home.
Yeah,
of course she's gonna do crack and bang strangers and get addicted.
This is the 90s, guys. What are we doing?
The choices when he goes to their house and Mark Wahlberg has this picture of the mother Mary, but with fucking Nicole's face. And the Photoshop of the family.
Dude, the Photoshop of the Chucky doll, just for good measure.
Oh my, yeah, the Chucky doll. You gotta put the Chucky doll in there to
he's
show
a
what
weirdo freak.
Yeah, what a weird place this is. Dude, that Photoshop picture and the Mary picture killed me. Like, what?
That is kind of a weird, like, dad fear, like, to be replaced by the boyfriend. This movie's really coming into focus here. Like, it's
it was never out of focus for me.
Man,
it took me half the movie for me to realize, okay, this is dad writing this movie. Okay, and once you get that, everything kind of clicks. It really does.
God damn.
Yes. So even in my recommendation, I was saying it's like a huge fail, but I think, Randy describing it as a Lifetime movie. I mean, I think that is so appropriate, because it's these fantasies almost of somebody like putting these ridiculous fantasies down on paper and like living them out in this real way. And the thing about it is, some people kind of commented on the Slack, oh, what are you guys watching next week? And we were kind of talking about it a little bit as I was watching it and like losing my shit. And the thing is, I don't mean to say that the subject matter is funny, it's the execution of it. Now, obviously, somebody coming stalking you, raping your friend. I mean, those are like really serious, terrible things.
Yeah. And I'm sure if you have any sort of like anything in your life that it reminds you of, it is not a
funny.
laugh-worthy time.
Yeah, because, then the boyfriend, he's stalking her he's beating up her friends. He's being possessive. He's following her, and her family to the mall. He's coming over to their house there and stuff. But it's the execution. It's that somebody wrote it this way is hilarious. That's what's hilarious.
That's
the fact that
absolutely.
The dad throws this man 30 feet out the window. The fact this man tattoos Nicole for Eva.
That reminds me of, I don't know if you guys remember this, but like,
oh my God,
there was a man who faked having somebody spray paint his driveway. Some old man. There's like a picture of him in the paper, and it's pretty obviously faked. Where he spray painted, he was trying to villainize black people, and he wrote "Blacks Rule" on his own driveway poorly with spray paint,
dude.
and had a public an interest story about it. And that's what this reminds me of. It's stepping on your own head. Like,
wow.
Downtrodden.
Dude,
I don't know. The point of view is what's funny.
Just before
the
dad yeets Mark Wahlberg out the window, Nicole grabs a peace pipe off of her bedside table that apparently she has, and she says, "Now you can forever hold your peace," and stabs that motherfucker in the back with a peace pipe. Amazing.
They cut the dog's head off.
They took the time to do that.
They cut it off.
One of the
Dude,
guys,
the peace pipe thing. Like, okay, sorry, go ahead.
There's another guy, like they were trying to break into the house. There's a guy that just has a huge log, and the one man is trying to break the door down.
He's
with
battering
a
log.
That's the 45-year-old man.
And yeah, it's the 45-year-old man, and he's also simultaneously giving exposition dialogue. He's like, "You mess with my house, I mess with your house," and then stepmother's like, "What did you do, Gil Grissom?"
Him holding that log looks stupid and hilarious.
It's like a 6-foot log. That thing weighs 100 pounds, and he's just like slamming it into the door.
That didn't make me laugh, but it was very, very stupid.
It killed me, dude.
Also, too, they lead you to think that these windows are somehow reinforced because they're having to use a drill to get through the window, which whatever. But then later, Nicole, Reese Witherspoon, just stabs an umbrella through the window and like stabs.
Well, that's
a guy
an upstairs window. You know.
Oh, okay. You know,
that's
right. My bad.
He designed this house himself, by the way. At every turn, the dad is like responsible for the family safety and ultimately succeeds, and that's the whole incorrect. He's right about everything except it's so fucking hilarious. Everything down to like the security guard and shit and how things are. I don't know. It's just fucking hilarious that he's like, "Oh, I'm the master of my domain." It's very much that perspective, and it's very blustery and hilarious.
It's a smart house before smart houses were a thing, and like all the windows and doors are super reinforced because Dad knew that was the way to go. But Marky Mark has the code. And he puts the code in and opens the door, and the dad just runs over and closes the deadbolt. But like,
they locks it back up.
They never use the code ever again.
You can't use the code twice, Bob.
It's true. It's Dad designed it that way. You can't do it,
dude. That little peephole scene when he locks the door and he's like, "Look at there," and he's like, "Let me in the house."
Let me in the fucking house. That was improv.
I was losing my. I was thinking to myself, when have I laughed so much recently about watching a film?
When we realized the Wahlberg logo is balls, that's the last time.
Yeah, probably.
Wow.
Probably.
I don't know. Like, it's you look at this thing and it's like, okay, so if they're rich enough and have this like beautiful place that is all secure and like has a security guard and all the shit on staff, they got to be pretty loaded or whatever. How do these guys come here and they had enough sophistication to cut the phone lines and do all these like this preparation without the security guard even knowing? If you're gonna go on killing people, just kill him. Like, I don't know, they end up killing him anyway. But they do all that to be subversive or like to get in under the radar, and then they're breaking down the door with a big piece of wood. Like, you didn't bring a crowbar, but you somehow brought your fucking like telephone toolkit. Like, I don't understand that shit.
Dude, I think the most dad note of this movie, and I had forgotten this, I wrote this down, is that before the parents have to go out of town for work, the whole family is supposed to go to their second James Taylor concert.
Oh my god.
Dude, they say James Taylor like 35 times.
They love fucking James Taylor.
Dude, I like James Taylor, but you're like, this is excessive. They have like the longest conversation about James Taylor. I know.
I love it.
My daughter's getting too big to come to my James Taylor concert with me. She's all busy with those Eddie Vedder concerts now. I can't handle it.
Too good. Too fucking good.
Them butterfly kisses, baby. What are you going to do?
Butterfly kiss her on your daddy's little face.
And the other thing is
bringing it back.
Mm-hmm. And then, like, I don't know, there's this whole... It tries to get into the head of Reese Witherspoon's character. It tries to go there, but I don't. It's played so like it's like generic as fuck. The only she's so she doesn't do anything to really protect herself. It takes like she doesn't tell anybody when she sees her best friend smoking crack and getting raped. Like, she doesn't want to talk. Like, I don't know. It's I'm in no business. I'm in no better place to say what a teenage girl in that position would do, but it just seemed very like, I don't know, like that's a helpless 16-year-old girl. Like, it's that attitude of like she's helpless, even though like, I don't know. I feel like there should have been a little more agency on her part. She should have been like able to make a few like stern calls for herself, and they didn't write that, and tying that in with all the other dad points of view feels like a distinctive misunderstanding of the agency.
Well, yeah, I mean, to me, she's written from, again, the perspective of a dad, because she even has this conversation at the beginning where I think she's talking about Gary, where she's like, yeah, I went on another a date with Gary, but sometimes it feels like, I'm babysitting him. I should be getting paid to babysit him or whatever. And then, of course, she falls for this much older guy. And it's just like, it's totally and then the way that she meets him, he's playing pool. By the way, you can't smoke over the pool tables. We know that for sure. You are not allowed to smoke over the pool tables. So that is false.
Shouts outs to Riggsy's Billions.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know, everything from her perspective of just, because even it's the other girl who gets hooked on drugs, not the good daughter, not my daughter or whatever. It's just, dude, the condom wrapper of him.
She writes an apology letter to her father just to validate his feelings and fears.
Even though she's,
it's just such dad porn. It's insane.
And the guy like having her panties in his
shaving daddy off of the jewelry and replacing it with David.
Oh my god, dude!
What is the span of time of this movie? I cannot fucking tell.
It's just, it's kind of one of those things where,
is it a month, a week? Like I don't know. Get it.
It's just kind of, it's a sad and kind of pathetic.
It's like a chick tract sort of thing. Yeah. It's like, it reminds me of like Satanic Panic shit.
Well, it kind of, honestly, it reminds me of an adult version of the kid filming himself with the lightsaber in his garage. And what I'm saying, it's like this fantasy that you have, thinking it's so badass and thinking you have these insights into teenage girls and but then also having them have their asses out and show them to you, and so you're just as somebody outside and watching this person's fantasies play out, you're like, oh god, but you can't look away. It's like a fucking
you can't look away.
He's
got the cool car and he's got the balls to put the boyfriend.
He's like neutered. He's like neutered 90s Charles Bronson. In between Charles Bronson and fucking Taken is this movie where it's not quite hitting the proper dad vibes. It's just overly concerned.
That's
with
the thing. He's not. He's not a Taken. He's a regular dad. He's making money for his family. He's working hard. He's stressed, and he even drops the lines of like, "If I don't go, we're not eating," or whatever. Those typical like dad kind of. It's just so. The mom's
like, shut the fuck up. Everybody's eating, and you know it. Like, shut up.
And I did think that it was funny when the fucking his wife is very upset with him for, I don't remember why at that point, but like she's pissed off at him because his work is overtaking things or whatever. And he's like, well, I got to go to New York or wherever. You want to come with? We'll stay at the nice hotel. And she turns around with a big old smile and they just leave. They jet off. Like, all it takes is a little money. Am I right, boys? This is like the guy who writes the Lockhorns writes this fucking shit. I don't know.
Like every detail, even I love the way that the security guard comes out fucking double fisted.
I know, he's got two pistols. He
and
dodges.
He's like cocked back.
He dodges.
I will protect this family.
The dude comes from behind him. He can't see him. He dodges him and immediately pulls out two pistols. We're like 2 minutes before he was just watching Married with Children, minding his own business. It's like it's gold. It's just fucking gold.
God.
Well, of course, here come the demons.
Here come.
I mean, really, the lesson here is just never. This is what happens when you skip school.
This is what happens when you don't listen to Daddy.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
There was one very brief shot in this movie that like really reminded me of Halloween. And I just got Halloween on the brain for sure because it's
sure, yeah.
I know
what you're talking about.
Why? What purpose?
Yeah, I know, right? Towards the end of the movie, where Marky Mark is stalking Nicole, and she's walking down the sidewalk, and there's leaves blowing everywhere, and there's like tall shrubs next to her, and he sort of like steps into frame, and you just see like his shoulder in the back of his head, and he's just watching her walk away, and it was like straight out of Halloween, man. I was like, oh damn, that's kind of cool.
I didn't catch
It
that.
legit was, because I mean, it was the same. It was during the day after school. There's even a shrub, like where I think he goes behind or whatever, or
There was that big shrub that Gary walked through when he was getting stalked. Is that the scene you're talking about?
No, it's Nicole. He's watching Nicole.
Okay, it is Nicole. I missed the one you're talking about then. But let's go back to Gary for a minute because I don't understand Gary. Do you guys understand what the fuck's up with Gary? Were they dating? Were they friends? It seemed
Just
like they were
friends, I
just
think.
friends.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like. But
she
she's
was
talking about how
talking
she was
about-
dating him.
or well,
And,
it sounded like she
was it him?
before we meet him.
Right.
I thought she was talking about him, like,
Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought so
anytime
too.
I'm on a date with him, it feels like I should
feel like I
getting paid to
Babysitting money, yeah.
But then he's like hanging around.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that was
friend.
maybe it's a
Friend.
different
He's just-
name. I don't
maybe
know.
maybe it's
But
somebody
if it was
different.
Gary, it's very fucking confusing. I was
It's
like,
weird.
So like, I understand like this is a friend. He's gonna defend her honor or whatever. He's talking to her about her relationship stuff, and it's very forthright. There's no like baggage there. They're clearly just buddies. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
it was
they're
very
And
strange.
also too, Wahlberg knows about Gary because afterwards she's like, "No, that's Gary." It's like, "Oh shit. Well, okay. Hey, Gary."
If I known it was Gary, I wouldn't have done all that. I'm real sorry, Nicole. I'm sorry. I
You
would
would've
have whispered
whispered it.
Gary. You should have just said, "Hey, that's Gary." And I'm like, "Oh, no, Gary's ever been bad. I'm gonna stop beating this guy in the face."
That's pretty good Wahlberg, honestly.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I'm impressed. Whispery in this movie, his whisper is out of fucking control in this movie. It is insane how much he whispers in this movie. He's got the try hard.
And also just how manipulative he is. It's just, the lines he drops, "I want to meet your family." Like, it's just the cringiest shit of even the "I love you" when they're about to have sex and
manipulation.
oh my god, dude!
I think I have a
digmatized
theory why
speech
this
or
movie was
whatever
chosen
that
for
he
this
gives.
podcast.
Good.
Oh yeah.
What'd you say?
Do you?
Sorry, go ahead, Juice.
Oh no, just we talked about it before. About the speech he gave in the bathroom about her being digmatized and shit.
Dude, that shit is insane.
We're hunting for dick.
Yeah, we are. The little note he leaves on the dad's car that says, "Now I've popped both your cherries."
Oh my
Out of
god,
control.
dude! I wrote that down too.
Out of control.
It's just there's so many notes. It's woof woof woof. Oh my god, dude! It's this movie goes 0 to a fucking 100. Just
for a while
when
it's
he goes
just like
pure
pure melodrama, 100% melodrama.
I mean, the party is ridiculous with the chopper flying in and stuff like that. But yeah, at first it's just this shitty dude. I didn't realize he was 23. I don't remember at what point they kind of bring up that idea. But
I don't know.
Yeah,
but I assumed he was older, but I didn't know.
Sure.
Really. And he said something along the lines of like, "Oh, I've been to Rikers and I've been to Sing Sing and all these places." And like,
no, the dad does the investigation on that. Before he says, "Oh, I grew up in a farm."
No. I'm saying when he's revealing himself, he does say like, he says something. I can't remember who to, but he's like, it's like a threatening moment where he's threatening somebody. He's like, "Oh yeah, oh no, it's Gary." He's like, I moved all around. I've been to Rikers, and it's all about walls. And he has this big Wahlberger speech. And,
Wahlberger.
I don't know. I was very like, so this guy has been to multiple prisons, and he says they just couldn't hold. I don't understand what's going on.
He's been to Rikers Island.
Yeah, Rikers Island is not an overnight fucking vacation for people who are sleeping it off.
You just got to break through the wall, and then all of a sudden you're not.
And you just have to like punch through the walls. That's how I got out of prison.
Yeah, they just couldn't hold me anymore, so they just let me go.
Why can't anybody give me a goddamn second?
Dude. That fucking that Maureen Ponderosa moment in Sunny in Philadelphia, where she does
that was a. I always wondered about that. I was like, that's so specific and strange. It's from this movie.
Yeah, I mean,
of course, it's like
it makes sense now. Yeah, fucking fantastic. She's doing the Marky Mark from Fear. She's doing it. She's fucking fantastic.
I always too when this came on, and I was like, wait a second, because I was remembering having seen it, but also too. She's also Reese Witherspoon at around the same age, I think the next year or so, probably filmed at the same time, did Cruel Intentions, which is got a very, very similar kind of vibe about, have y'all seen Cruel Intentions?
I don't think I have.
Mostly, but I've seen like bits and pieces. My sister loved that fucking movie, so I saw bits and pieces growing up.
Because it's got a very similar vibe where there's these two rich brother and sister, they're stepbrother and sister, and they're just snooty as shit, and they make this bet that the brother can't take this Reese Witherspoon again's virginity. She's the good girl at school or whatever. So this piece of shit comes in and starts seducing her and shit like that. Actually falls for that, but it's got like very similar vibes. Losing your virginity and like
it's those 90s melodrama laden like pushing the sexy envelope psychosexual thrillers.
You're supposed to be 16. Same shit with Buffy. She's supposed to be like 16 years old and she's having sex with this old vampire who's just
that was just like okay.
That was the 90s, man. Whoa.
That was like kind of a regular thing. I mean, the most common
people used to count down until the Olsen twins turned of age. It's a fucked up world.
The most
Natalie Portman too, when she was in Leon the
the professional. She was fucking 10 or something.
She was really young, and then people were counting down like, "Oh, when's Natalie Portman?" I was like, "What the fuck?" 90s.
The Britney Spears "Baby One More Time." She was 16 in that video. That's like one of the more commonly cited things. Yeah. But it was just like kind of accepted, I guess, in the 90s. Like, you could sexualize teenagers and
And not only could you, but you should at all times.
Yeah, it's normal. It's completely. That's what people do. We sexualize 16-year-olds. What the?
2 years after this movie came out, Reese Witherspoon came out with fucking Pleasantville. Then the year after, Cruel Intentions and Election, and American Psycho. The following year, like this, she was on such a streak.
Yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah, she's the girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I just watched Election recently. That movie fucking rules.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Oh my god, it's a black comedy. It's a dark comedy film. It's super fucking good. It's got Ferris Bueller in it.
Okay.
Broderick.
Totopoulos.
Broderick.
Matthew.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. The Greek. Do you guys have anything else you want to touch on before we rate this thing? I think we kind of hit the major points.
No, I think I'm all right. Yeah. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, I'll just go down my notes when I do.
All right, let's do it. Out of 5, Juice, why don't you kick us off? How do you feel about Fear?
I don't know how to rate this movie. This is one of those movies where it was hilarious. I was just laughing. I was just laughing at everything.
But it's not a comedy.
That's the thing about it. That's it.
Are you gauging on what's intended or what your experience was?
I know. That's the thing. Well, I got to mix it with both because that's why I kind of prefaced it by saying the same kind of enjoyment you get out of watching, Troll 2, or the same kind of enjoyment you get from Sleepaway Camp. It's kind of that where somebody intended it to be something and it is very much not that. And because of that, it was absolutely hilarious to me. Man, I'll just go down my note. I mean, most of these I cover, but yeah, how old is that guy? Their asses are out. The open kisses, dialogue is terrible. Take your make off. You look like a slut. I was like, Jesus Christ. Got all the time in the world. That shit was cracking me up. So much Bush on the soundtrack. Lousy with Bush. I want to meet your family. Just all the lines he drops. Oh my! Autumn vibes though. Sneaky autumn. That's pretty cool.
Sneaky autumn. There's a leaf in this movie.
You gotta watch it every autumn now. You know,
do it. Tradition.
What choice have you? None.
Tradition.
Got to.
Oh, it's Fear Day.
Probably would. Yeah. September 16th, Fear Day. Yes. His room, the face over the Mary picture, and then the Photoshop of him with the family, the decapitated dog. Just, I licked her sweet tears. I wrote Wild Horses again. Just
they cannot
again. Just bringing it back. After like 4 Bush songs, they bring back Wild Horses again. I love it, dude. So much.
Wild Horses
butt
couldn't
rock.
drag that track away from this movie.
Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it.
Dude, the prison tattoo. He breaks Gary's neck. He breaks.
He doesn't.
He flips him over and like breaks his neck.
It's like a Power Rangers move, except
Yeah.
with Mortal Kombat in the mix. And
It is like a Power
He snaps the neck, and like in less than a second, we're cut to another scene. It's like, okay,
Oh
Gary
my
is
God.
done.
Now I pop both
That's a
your
wrap on
cherries.
Gary.
Jesus Christ. The Chucky doll. You got to put the Chucky doll in there. Double fist in the pistols.
So I started
Let me in here.
blasting.
Dude, his little peephole
Frank Reynolds. If that was Danny
speech.
DeVito, I would shit so many
I
blogs.
wish.
That would be so funny.
Damn.
It's just I don't know, man. It's just this movie. It's terrible, but it's hilarious.
Yeah.
So I really just laughed throughout, and I was like, it was like when me and Bob like watched the not the birds, the pseudo bird. Birdemic, yeah. I was like, if I watch this movie with Bob, I was like, if we push this back 2 weeks and I was in Florida and we were watching this, I was like, it would be Birdemic all over again. I would just be laughing the whole, because I was already laughing just by myself. So I don't know. I think that's going to carry this a long way. I honestly think it, and also too, it's this weird night. Like we said, that this shit was okay. This isn't a one-off. This got some pretty consistent themes with a lot of other films going on at this time. So for that, it's this curious oddity.
Wild Things, Cruel Intentions.
I think I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. It was just so funny. It was just so funny to me.
Single white female, Fatal Attraction, A Perfect Murder.
Ooh,
I'm just looking at all the more
so
like
funny.
this on IMDb, and
Yeah.
Shit's wild. All
All
right.
right. Bob, out of 5, what are you gonna rate this one?
I'm kind of in the same boat here. I usually, when I rate movies, I try to split my meter in half with like my enjoyment level and like what the filmmaker intended and how close they achieved that. And this movie is extraordinarily enjoyable, I think. I don't know that the filmmaker even really came close to achieving what he was trying to do. And the existence of this erotic thriller with like starring and featuring teenagers is just problematic. And like, I'm glad it's a thing that's not really around anymore. That's definitely good. But this movie specifically is fucking hilarious. The lines are hilarious. It's got a lot of like moments that are like, that I understand like why people remember this movie. Whereas like maybe some of the other erotic thrillers that came out in the 90s could fall by the wayside. There's just a lot of like really memorable lines and moments in this movie. Like the scene in the fucking bathroom stall, Marky Mark pounding himself on the chest. Just the whispers. Just so many whispers in this fucking movie. It's out of control. It does have towards the end like a sort of like a home invasion-y type vibe, which does lend itself a little more to like the horror crowd. So if you're into that kind of like horror subgenre, you might get a little bit of that out of this. This is just dad porn, totally through and through dad porn, and it's super weird because of that, but it's also really fucking funny because of that. Like detective dad, badass dad, like dad could still get like young ass, but he's respectable, so he doesn't do it. But he's got a really cool car, and he's not afraid to like put this young fuck in his place, and like he works really hard to support his family and works overtime, and he's really good at his job, and he designed a fucking fortress for them to live inside of, and he yeets this motherfucker halfway across the county at the end of the movie to protect his family, and like it's just fucking ridiculous and really fun. So I like, my enjoyment's pretty high, and I think this movie's nowhere near what it was intended to be. So I think I'm on the same boat with Juice, actually, with a 3 out of 5 on this one.
Nice.
I think that's fair. Randy, how do you feel?
So I don't have the benefit of getting as much enjoyment from the absurdity of this movie as you guys did. I think that if we were in the same room, I would feel different. I'm going to do myself just a favor and not speculate what I might think about it in a future viewing, and just go with my experience here, because My experience here, it was a little like frazzled. I was not in my best state when I watched this. I was a little hungover. Your boy had a party last night. So I was probably had a bad beer situation in some ways, but like just on a nuts and bolts, like what this movie's trying to accomplish, was a little confusing for a while. And then it became clear that what it's trying to accomplish through a very, very myopic, tiny, specific lens of conservative dad porn. And I can't take it seriously. And I wasn't really laughing. I think that if Justin was sitting next to me cackling, I definitely would have joined in. But I was like having trouble paying attention at times. There were some moments that were like, I could understand people like remembering this, and I could certainly understand people who, had horrible things happen in their lives or whatever, seeing this and it fucking them up. Like it carries the weight of the topic with it, and it doesn't not do the weight of those things justice. It's just very confused in how it tells those things. It doesn't really leave you with anything other than father knows best is the moral of the story, and I just like,
and he's still
that
hot.
makes me laugh because it's fucking stupid. Yeah, but looking at the nuts and bolts of it, like it looks okay. There's some shit that like flying 50 feet out a window, not okay. Some of the editing was choppy. Certainly the logic of some of the scenes was out there, but it visually, it's all cohesive feeling. I think it does pretty well at that from a cinematography perspective. It lays out the house in a reasonably well, like the space looks good. So I give them things like that, but like, honestly, and this is, I don't know how, I don't think this is a hot take, but I'm going to go ahead and preface by saying maybe it is. Mark Wahlberg is not a good actor. Not a good actor at all. The man, no. I don't know. Like he is good at some very specific things. In Boogie Nights, he's incredible because when he is trying to act, he sounds very doe-eyed and like I don't know, like a little. It seems very inauthentic. Like he's putting on a face, putting on a front, and that is appropriate for a kid who's breaking into porn in the movie Boogie Nights. It doesn't really work in this movie when it doesn't seem like, I don't know, like the only reason you ever know that he's like menacing is because he tilts his head down and looks at you through his brow. Like that's what passes for acting in this movie. And the dialogue doesn't help him at all. I mean, we saw what happens in like The Happening or whatever. He's also quite good at being a Southie piece of shit, like in The Departed. He's great at that. Like he's like excellent in that. I love him in that. And I don't even dislike Marky Mark in general. I just don't think he's a strong actor. And this movie is very much in the not good category. And he carries so much of this movie. It really weighed. I was not getting the comedy as much as I would have liked, like Justin and Bob. So I don't know. It left me definitely lower than you guys on it. It has room to grow and change. I'm not in a hurry to see this again, just to see if I find it funnier this time. Maybe I will, but until that day comes, I'm going to stick with a 2. It's got some capabilities. It doesn't completely shit the bed, but the perspective is not to my liking at all and very confused. The story is confused. The acting's wooden. And yeah, I just don't like Lifetime movies that much.
Word. Well, with Randy's 2, that's going to put our aggregate at a 2.7. And we, as per usual, whenever you guys do grab a you pick, we encourage you to either send in a voicemail or an email with your own thoughts and rating on the movie you pick for us to talk about. Gabriel did send in an email. Juice, do you have that pulled up?
I got it. Let's go.
Dope.
Hi again, chilling crew. Ironically, I am in the line for a roller coaster as I think up this review. I hope that's true. Yeah. I picked Fear 1996.
Hope you got finger banged, my guy.
Whoa.
First drop's a doozy.
I picked Fear 1996 because I wanted to pick a flick that was also just the mechanics of just banging on a
roller coaster.
It can't be pleasurable.
Like you're going nuts. Like you can't. It's I don't know, man.
If Wild Horses is on, all of your motor functions work perfectly in a high velocity situation.
Okay. Oh my God. I picked Fear 1996 because I wanted to pick a flick that was a thriller with a noticeable cast, which could create one of the funniest episodes ever. From Wahlberg's soft dialogue and obvious Boston accent forever, and awkward French kissing, to Witherspoon's young, naive look, to Mr. Walker's super dad personality, to Laura's slut makeup shaming, to Milano's absurd opinions about love, to Gary's friend zone situation, a Tony Bear partner I can do without, but I know why he's there. I can't ever forget about Bush and wild horses sprinkled in with a little Toad the Wet Sprocket. Damn, that's a 90s throwback right there. I'm very sure you three at this point of the show have definitely provided one hell of a review. Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch home invasion scenes at the finale was very effective, but maybe not so much now. Had more of a PG-13 vibe than an R rating that Fear has. Overall, I always liked this movie from the first time me and my neighborhood friend of mine saw this at the movies for a Saturday matinee. From there, buying it on VHS and getting it on Blu-ray as a gift, Fear will always be a fun, iconic complement fixture of the WB teen craze of the mid-90s. No rating out of 5 included, just 2 Bush songs, way up. Hashtag Hard West Soju. That is not Bush, Bob.
I know it's not Bush. It's just Randy's.
I'm looking. I'm looking at the soundtrack right now, and at least on the soundtrack, there's only 2 Bush songs.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought I clocked 3. If it wasn't 3, they played one of them, but a different section.
Yeah, they played Come Down twice for sure.
Okay, that's okay. That's
that one
what
I
it
recognize
was.
for sure.
Okay, so they just played a different section of it. Okay, I was like, Bush.
Sorry, I didn't mean to derail from Gabe though.
No, that's okay. That's it.
Gabe, you really you nailed it for Justin and Rob, and maybe one day for me as well. I think all of those things definitely tickled them, and it was definitely fun to talk about. So I hope it was fun to listen to.
It was
super
good
fun.
Good pick.
Yeah, dude. I hope you rode the shit out of that roller coaster and fully climaxed.
Yeah.
Just go nuts.
Oh man,
let's
single most thrilling experience of my whole life.
A giga ride on. Let's jump into our Rotten Tomatoes segment and see what the critics and users think about fucking Fear.
Certified to death.
Yes, what do the critics think about fucking Fear? This is the Rotten Tomatoes segment in which I give these gentlemen the chance to guess within the best of their abilities what the aggregate positive score is for both critics and users on RottenTomatoes.com. We're going to start, as we always do, with the critic score. There are 39 reviews counted. I'm going to start with Juice today. Juice, where do you think those critics landed in terms of positive scores? 39.
That's pretty low.
It is low. It's before Rotten Tomatoes was on.
Yeah.
So.
Also, too, this is a wild card because, 39's low and the 90s had its own vibe, and some people really dig that vibe. And it's hard to say, when did these come out? Were people okay with 16-year-olds dating 23-year-old men when the reviews came out? I don't know. So I can't imagine this is going to be too positive. I'm thinking even if it's positive, it's got to be capped. So I'm going to say 60.
60. Okay. Bob, how about you?
I can't believe this would be a critical darling in any way. I'm definitely going to take the under, and I'll take a 50 right down the middle.
50. All right. Well, gentlemen, one of you is only 4 percentage points away from victory. No ringy dingy, but Bob here is going to take it. It's a 46%.
Okay.
46.
Yeah. It could have. That's the thing. It could have been worse.
It could have been worse.
It could have been worse.
It could have. If this was 15%, I would have been like, oh,
okay, yeah.
If all of those ratings, if all of those ratings were written in 1996, I imagine it would be higher.
Probably.
Yeah, that's where
Jerry Seinfeld dated high schoolers. Why not? Just show dads lusting after fucking high schoolers
in the show.
Did you not know that?
Or in real life?
In life.
In life, I did not know that.
I don't know. Well, I don't know.
There's some famous video to
an
him
18 flat 18-year-old.
Yeah.
I'm sure there is. I don't know. There's a lot of that going around. It wasn't just him. It's an attitude change that I think we all benefit from.
Yay!
Anyway,
Yeah.
hooray for progress. As we
she's
descend
only
into
17.
fire.
Yeah, what's with all the 17-year-old
Yeah,
songs?
dude,
What is,
that is-
It's really fucking weird.
There's a lot of them out.
Yeah.
Don't do that, please. Thank you.
I can't even imagine talking to a 17.
Yeah. What they don't.
So what do you like? Crazy
Get
bands?
outta here.
You're into
Go-
crazy
go to
bands,
school.
right? You're into.
I mean, they dress like the 90s now, right? I guess that's a right.
Oh.
The 90s are coming back.
We can relate.
Oh yeah, chokers are back. You know, daddy kinks are a thing.
I saw on the subway the other day. I did see a younger woman rolling up her fat ass jeans. She's just like rolling them. I was like, I know that struggle, kid. I know
boy.
that struggle.
It's a hard road, but someone's got to walk.
It's a hard road.
It's a hard road.
many
It's a
many
hot
deaths on
topic.
that road. Yes. All right, let's move on. Here comes our audience score. I'm going to give Bob a chance to guess this one first. There are over 50,000 audience ratings on this, so definitely there's some buzz of some kind in the users category. Bob, why don't you kick us off and tell me what you think those scores are, or the aggregate positive score is, rather.
I think it'll be higher than the critics because this is a goofy, dumb, funny movie. It's more of a crowd pleaser than a critical darling for sure. I don't think it's going to be crazy high though. I will take the comedy number of 69, please.
Oh, the dudes. All right. Well, Juice, where are you going with it? Up, down, sideways? How are we doing?
That's tough. That's tough. Yeah, because I think it's going to be more positive too, but that's right on that cusp. Fuck. I guess I'll take the under just because I don't have a lot of respect for this film.
Anybody give me a goddamn second?
I'll say 65.
65. All right. Well, you guys, you're hovering in the right zone. One of you is 2 percentage points off, and that person is Soju. 63%.
Okay. All right.
Only a couple off, but it was in
Yeah.
actually. Yeah. I'm sorry, I was looking at the wrong number for a second. Did I do that math wrong? No, it's right. Okay.
I get right
Bob,
on.
you could have gone a little bit further down, but
yeet.
it's a little split there.
I'll get
Oh.
hell yeet.
Right
I'll get right out.
What
Right
a
on.
choice to write that fucking song. That is
Dude,
insane.
A lot of people made a lot of choices in life.
Well put.
Uh-huh. Yeah, they did.
Yes, that's a very committal
We
statement.
were talking.
you
What were
just made.
some that came up? Hinder was a big one. Lips of an
Hinder.
Angel.
Oh my God.
Randy. Randy, you wanted?
Do you guys not remember, Bob? You acted like you had
Yeah,
never heard
Bob
the
had
song,
never heard
but
that
I
song
vividly
before.
remember talking to you outside of some venue.
I'm sure
and
I've
us just
heard
like
it.
shitting down the neck of the song and laughing our asses off.
I just by name, I did not recall it. I'm sure I've heard it. I didn't go back to listen to
Yeah.
it. I'm sure I've heard it.
Honey, where you carry me?
The buttest of
It's
rock.
like, okay, here's
So
a
much butt
side
rock.
conversation I just got to know the answer to. How do you guys define butt rock? Because to me, it's people trying to sound like Eddie Vedder and failing.
Yep.
Yeah, it's kind of like the pseudo grunge, like
Yes.
the.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the
It's the
bitch ass
prepackaged
grunge.
grunge.
Yeah, people like in the early 2000s that are trying to be grunge, but like just fucking don't have the talent. They just
Yeah.
have the voice.
Your puddle of muds,
Puddle of
your
muds,
whatnot.
yes.
Your puddle of
Yeah.
muds.
Saliva.
Yeah.
Your puddles of mud.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Your stains.
they're just not doing it. They're not there. They
They
can't.
can't.
Yeah.
They
Okay.
can't
I'm
do
glad
it.
we agree on that because
Not like
I heard
Alice
some
in
people
Chains,
saying other things.
Not
No,
like
that's just exceptions.
not Pearl
That's
Jam.
just
Yeah,
grunge
it's
music.
No, well, no,
it's-
not Pearl Jam.
It's
Pearl
the
Jam.
pseudo grunge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're just.
I'm
But it's
glad we're
specifically
all on
people
the same
trying to
page.
sound like better to me. Like
can't
it's
cut
not going to be Jimmy's Chicken Shack. It's going to be fucking Hinder.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with Jimmy's
Oh, yeah.
Chicken Shack.
I don't have a strong opinion
What
about them.
do
So
I
anyway.
do?
But that's a different sounding voice. Was my point.
Totally.
Anyway,
totally.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your
Okay.
puddle of
Here
mud.
is the critics' consensus as it reads on Rotten Tomatoes. Fear has an appealing young cast, but their efforts are not enough to consistently distract from an increasingly overblown and illogical teen stalker story. That seems pretty rational to me.
Yeah. That's fine.
All right, and now as we do, we're going to read a negative review or two and see if there's any funnies to pull out of this negative section. Here's one. One of the all-time goofiest movies, avoiding a tough inspection of troubling emotional speeds and stunted communication to sneeze out a confused, half-realized story of obsession. Oof. That's a sentence. That is one sentence.
Damn.
Yeah.
Sure. Nailed it.
Very rambly. It sounds to the right cadence, but I can't be sure because he went all kinds of places there for a second.
It's probably
the metaphors are mixed. Yeah. All right, and let's do one more here. Okay, yeah, I did read this one earlier, and this one's just kind of interesting to me. A throwback to the psychosexual thrillers of the 1980s. Fear is sort of a male version of Fatal Attraction. That last bit seems about right to me, or at least in the right zone, like tonally.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
Okay, well, it was it was. I don't know. We don't have to go. Maybe that'll come up in another episode.
In that movie.
No, it's not really a teen thing though. That's the difference. It's kind of like I would modify this. It's Fear is sort of a male father figure version of Fatal Attraction because
this feels so specifically 90s. Because even though you had teen sexuality in the slashers and stuff like that, this is different. I don't know.
It's more like so fear-mongery where it feels like you're saying, it feels like criticizing.
Well, in some ways, it's kind of
feel like it's criticizing women for using their sexuality as if that was their choice, that the men who are in the world respond to that.
Well, a lot of the times it was, like I said, Buffy was a big one where in that show, she's like, oh, I'm 16 now, I'm the Slayer. And then she's banging this. Even if he wasn't an old vampire who's hundreds of years old, he'd be like 25 or some shit. I have
not seen enough of that show to know what you're saying, but yeah.
Okay. It's just,
same.
I feel you. I can hear what you're saying.
It's weird.
It's weird.
Up.
So yeah, that's Rotten Tomatoes segment. I'm going to just move us right on because we're in weird territory right now. Thank you, Fear.
There's just a couple bits of trivia, but let's go ahead and get into it.
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
It's totally time for trivia.
All right, yeah, just a few little points here. So this movie was...
sorry.
Yeah.
I just noticed there's like a videos section on Rotten Tomatoes. The first one is official clip, wild roller coaster ride. Oh, that's the first clip you're gonna show me.
That's
the first
coaster.
I don't know about that. I'm sorry, Bob. Please continue.
This movie was filmed in 1994, but it wasn't released until 1996. I'm not exactly sure why. I didn't find a reason for that, but they held on to it.
Whoa. It was filmed in 1994?
Yeah.
94?
Yeah.
Hang on. How old was she?
I don't know.
That's a great question. I was just wondering that myself.
Oh.
Hang on. Well, continue.
76.
I'm going to do some research.
All right.
76 she was born. 86.
76.
So she would have been 18.
Okay. Barely made the cut.
Yeah, big woo.
Because when I looked it up, I was like, okay, when it was released, I was like 20. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but ooh, that's not okay. Sorry, Bob. Not great.
Liv Tyler turned down the role for Nicole, and Leonardo DiCaprio also turned down the role for David, but he did put in a word for his buddy Mark Wahlberg, who ended up getting the part.
I know the perfect guy for this role. And my buddy.
Mark's the guy you call when you just can't make it work, but you got to please the studio execs anyway. Why don't I hook you up with my stand-in? His name's Mark.
I'll take a finder's fee. No worries. The roller coaster featured in this movie is just called The Coaster. It's one of the biggest attractions at Playland in Vancouver, British Columbia.
Wow.
So you can ride the Finger Bang Express if you want to.
Based on these ages...
It's my big dick, so everybody get ready fucking now!
It's kind of pretty close. Mark Wahlberg, when they filmed, was 23. And Reese Witherspoon was 18. And so when it was released, he would have been 25. She would have been 20.
That's, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know where the lines are drawn. That's, I genuinely don't know what people would feel about that. At this point, it seems like if they're not, if you're dating somebody that's not directly your age, people shine a negative light on that, and mostly deservedly so, I would say. But I don't know where the lines are specifically drawn.
Who knows? So there's a Bollywood version of this movie that was released in 2004, and it's called Etbar, Aetbaar, and I need someone to call
I kind of
in
want to see that
and talk about that. Like, that's got to be wild. What's up with that?
I want it to be as like Bollywood is not known for being like hyper low key about anything. I would love to know if there's musical numbers.
Yeah,
in that.
There has to be. That's like
there has to be, right?
Part of the the thing. That's part of the package.
That's the Bollywood thing.
Yeah. So
that's like, oh man, that's insane.
Wow, they might sing a song on that coaster mid finger bang.
You know? Wild Horses is what they sing.
I want to see that. The last bit of trivia I have here is a total bummer, so I apologize in advance for this one. In July 2023, so this is an extremely recent interview, Reese Witherspoon stated that the infamous roller coaster scene was changed on the spot to be more explicit than it was written in the script, and she was denied a body double on the day. She said it was a degrading experience for her.
Jesus Christ.
I've seen that shit come up a lot these days. Of people coming out and being like, yeah, that was
not chill.
Especially too when she was that young, and that's so fucked.
That's very fucked up. Well, I'm glad that we know that though, because it makes me feel less bad about shitting on this movie. So
shit away.
That is not good.
Not chill at all.
Don't like it. Hey, that's a fun note to end on.
You know,
Thanks, Bob.
It does sort of lead us right into our next segment, which is
There we go.
Cooter of the week. Let's do it.
Straight chillin'. Cooter of the week.
Juice, what is a cooter and why do we hunt them?
Oh, Cooter is a character type and a straight chillin' excludes. Cooter must hit 3 of these 5 points to be considered a cooter, but we want the cooter with the most points. 5 points of cooterdom are sexual deviance, manipulation, smug arrogance, overall looking attire, and overall patheticness. Boys, I think we got plenty of cooters this
I think
week.
This is cooter free, honestly. There's not a single cooter.
Wow. Just wrap it up.
Then Bob's
Yeah,
a cooter is what I'm hearing.
I think everybody's good to go on this
No
one.
need to look further here, boys. Don't dig too deep into this one.
Nope, all good.
Bob really brought
this
the
sounds a
full
lot like
weight of
Bob in high
Discovery.
school or in college when he was going back to high school.
You couldn't keep me away from high school when I was 23.
Remember when Bob graduated college and he was hanging out at the high school a couple years?
Yes, that's what a boy likes.
And
He had that
everybody was
fucked up
okay with
car
it.
that was like always on the verge of exploding.
He's like, I like cars that have hot molten metal inside. That's my favorite.
I only finger bang on roller coasters.
He had that particular stash that he just wouldn't shake.
That particular stash.
Uh-huh.
The telltale stash, as we call it.
I mean, fucking Wahlberg is cooter of the goddamn century in this movie.
Dude, this is a top tier critter right here.
Yeah.
He is,
So,
but also, I think there is some, based on the new evidence brought to the attention in trivia section.
We'll get there.
Yeah. Well,
we don't want to go there yet. Okay, let's start with Mark. And Matt.
Let's.
I mean, he's got manipulation out the fucking ass, smug arrogance out the fucking ass, sexual deviance out the fucking ass. I think everything that he does in this movie is extremely fucking pathetic as well.
Yes.
I guess he's dressed fine.
I do have a note that was bothering the shit out of me. So this was just a natural note I took and I was like, maybe I'll bring this up for Cooter of the Week.
Yeah.
I just, for some reason, I hated the way all of his, even like t-shirts and everything were tucked into his jeans. Like with
like a loser.
Just
That's
just the way it
highly
was-
specific qualm.
I was just like, why is everything fucking tucked in?
Can I just say,
no matter what
I'm
he's
not
wearing.
gonna. I would not ding him for that, but I will ding him for the prison tattoo.
There you go.
Forever
That's a bingo.
on his chest.
Look and attire.
Nailed him. All five.
Yeah.
That is a choice,
dude.
Way to go, Randy.
Super Cooter for sure.
Yep.
Super
Get
Cooter.
in. He got 5 sands. Lock him in. Lock him in the pit.
I think you could also just round up his whole gang, honestly, like if you wanted to. We don't know much
Sure.
about them, but I think it's kind of safe to assume based on what we
I think
45-year-old
stringy-haired
man.
45-year-old guy. I think he's probably safe bet.
Yeah.
The others
It's a
are just
sexual
outliers
deviance.
of him. So
Yeah.
Giving
they're
drugs
just like
to a
passing
teenager.
women. Or I don't know, passing teenage girls around. That's I don't know, man. Fuck
it's just
them.
not okay.
Put him in the pit. Put him in the pit.
Oh, she's only 7.
And then I don't know. Part of me wants to like call out the dad for some shit, but he's up against such stiff competition. I don't know if it's worth the exercise.
Yeah.
So let's
The butterfly
who-
kisses of it all is kind of fucked up, but
It is. So did the director write this as well? Because
No.
that might.
So the
give me
writer
pause.
is
Okay.
Christopher Crowe. The director is James Foley.
Okay. What other stuff have these people worked on? I'm curious.
Man. I don't know. James Foley, I
I'll look
think,
it
had
up.
directed a lot of music videos,
Okay.
from what I remember. But yeah, I'd have to do
James
something.
Foley is an American film director. He worked on, here's some films: Reckless,
Glengarry
At
Glen
Close
Ross?
Range, Who's That Girl, After Dark, My
House
Sweet.
of
I don't know any of these.
Cards.
The
He's
Chamber,
done some spacey work. I don't know how that reflects.
50 Shades Darker, and 50 Shades Freed. There's something. That's something.
God damn.
I don't know any of these other movies.
Man.
nothing-
and
nothing
our
crazy.
writer. Oh, this makes a lot of sense. I'm seeing a lot of
Christopher Crowe.
NCIS.
Homeland Security, dad porn. What else?
With something called Whispers in the Dark. He was a writer on The Last Mohicans. What?
And Alfred Hitchcock Presents. This guy was the 80s version. Okay. I was like, how is he that old? Jesus Christ.
BJ
Anyway,
and
well,
the Bear, dad porn.
Look,
There you
I
go.
want to, based on just that one Reese Witherspoon thing, I think that's more than enough for me for our director to be put onto our sexual deviant
blast.
scale.
I'm down to roll with that. That is fair.
How are you even gonna like? I want a body double. No. What?
Yeah, why
There's
the fuck
no
not?
excuse.
This
for
18-year-old girl
that.
doesn't want to be finger banged on a fucking
Yeah.
roller coaster for this movie, and you say no.
We're gonna change this last minute, and you specifically request a body double, and we deny it. There's like, there's
Sorry,
no
we made a last minute
other
decision, and we
yeah,
can't do
there's
anything
no
about
other.
it. My hands are tied.
What? Oh my
Was
god!
Weinstein on the set that day? Jesus
What the
Christ.
fuck?
It's not okay. The 90s
not okay.
were kind of
Yeah,
fucked.
It's a fucked up thing.
Fucking
The
A.
Last of the Mohicans does have its own problems.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Thank
There's some
God we
critiques
had
of that
Super
film.
Nintendo
What?
Thank
to
Japan.
get us through the hard.
Those are the only options for us as children's.
Childs.
The roller coaster finger blast or Nintendo. Those are what you're doing on the weekend.
All right,
They
kids.
were-
Do you
to
want
be
finger
fair, they
blast
were
on a
playing
coaster? Or
some
do you want
SNES,
to
I
play some
think.
Mario?
Mario. So we got a fake Cooter and a real life Cooter. I think.
Yeah.
Anybody else you guys want to nominate for Cooter of the week?
No, I think
feel
that's
like-
fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't go through all the cooterdom, but
Yeah, I
there's
think,
a fair bit in this one.
Yeah, I think we got him. We can round up the whole gang too. We can just round up the whole gang. I think it's fair.
Yeah, put the
There's
gang
a
in
lot.
there.
We got him.
They can share
Probably
a cell.
Dad too.
Probably
honestly,
Dad.
Dad, I feel like
probably
Dad
any
probably
male
hits a
in
few
here.
things.
Oh, we didn't even talk about the kid just driving over that
Dude,
motherfucker.
that was
Did not-
badass.
Dude,
That was
also,
badass.
yes, I completely forgot, but I did want to bring
Me
up that
too.
that kid is the best character in the movie. That Toby rules.
Yeah.
He's the get shit done piece. He saves everyone.
Yeah,
Like, he
He's
does
like
better than the
Feldman
dad
in,
for his
in,
little contribution.
Friday the 13th 4.
Yeah, he comes through in
yeah.
the clutch and then just like it's swiftly forgotten again.
Yeah.
Fuck you,
His
Toby.
his superpower is being forgettable.
Way to go,
can't-
Tobes.
I can't wait for him to grow up. All right.
So I can ravage.
Why, Bob?
Let's
Oh boy.
let's talk about what we've been watching this week.
Hey gang, what you been watching?
Randy, what you been watching?
Okay, we got a lot to catch up on here. I am almost done with House of Usher. 2 episodes away. I am enjoying it greatly. It's rising in my affections with each episode, it seems like. My guess at like episode 2 is that it would probably be like in my middle spot for Flanagan's TV work, and that may still hold, but it's actually giving Hill House a run for its money right now, and we'll see how it ends though. Enjoying it a lot. I've watched the seven released episodes of Goosebumps, the teen series. That's a pretty good show. It's basically like a teen drama version of Hill House. Like it really is just kind of that. It's got like or even like Usher, because it uses like the titles of Goosebumps novels as episodes, and then it's like that. It's themed around that particular ethos, but it's all part of one narrative. It's kind of doing a similar trick. It's just meant for younger audiences. I like it. Okay, it's a little bit not for me. Basically, a little bit for a younger audience, but I'm still enjoying it. Good spooky stuff. Good Justin Long stuff. Watched. I got the new, very short Bill Watterson book. I gotta look up the other artist here. But this is the creator of Calvin and Hobbes. He and another artist put together this sort of like fable. It's like a fable for adults or something. And it's just this little like short art book. It's very like, it's beautifully done. The visuals are great. The story is like, to me, people are like kind of pissed because it's not as whimsical, I guess, as they wanted, or as biting, or there's not as much of it. It's very short. It took 10 years to make this. Like, people complaining about it. But I think it's pretty good. It's very like malleable. It is exactly what it purports to be. And so I really like it. Let me look up this guy's name real quick so I don't. Bill Watterson and Andrews McMeal. Andrews McMeal? Is that right? Sorry, give me 1 second.
McDonald.
I'm sure I'm not getting this wrong. Nope, that was not it at all. Bill Watterson and John Kasht. It's just somebody I'm not familiar with. There's just 2 artists working in isolation wherever the fuck he lives now. So yeah, I like that quite a bit, but it's not Calvin and Hobbes, people. I watched Dark Harvest, which is again sort of like, it feels like sort of a Flanagan, Stephen King sort of thing done with younger audiences in mind. It's a little slipshod. There's some real problems with the story, but like aesthetically, I really wanted to love this movie because aesthetically it is perfect Halloween movie, just beautiful for Halloween. It's just got a lot of problems, but I would still maybe consider watching it again next year or something, or at some point in the future. Kronos, rewatched Kronos. Fucking love that movie. Del Toro is a magician. He's fucking great. That movie rules. Saw 3D, watch that. That movie does suck dick. Excessive amounts of dick, and not in a fun way. Lots of teeth on that sucking.
I thought it was a lot of fun. Yeah, I mean, it's not particularly good, but entertaining.
Oh, it's just fucking terrible. And like, I don't know, like it's been long enough now because we've had backlog that I don't remember my specific complaints with it anymore. It all blends. But when I was watching, I was like, man, this is. Oh, the fucking first kill where it's just like 2 guys who've been sleeping with the same chick deciding to murder her in a public setting, like they're a David Blaine act. It was. Speaking of being written by Cooters, what the fuck, dude? Jesus Christ. All right, moving on. Becky. Finally got to see the movie Becky, which I enjoyed a lot. It was better than I anticipated it being. I thought it would be passable. It was better than passable. It was pretty good. I don't know. Like, I think that actress, whatever her name is, she did a great job. And I think that Kevin James did a fabulous job. I then followed this movie by watching Hubie's Halloween, which I think he must have been filming at the same time because he's got the same grizzled fucking beard. And I don't know. I tried it a second time. I don't really love that movie. It feels very lazy to me. Very lazy. It got the good aesthetics, like Dark Harvest. It's got a good, like, sort of goofier side of aesthetics. It includes a lot of stuff, but it's a lot of like fan service for people who love Billy Madison and shit like that, which is fine. That's kind of what Happy Madison does to some degree. But like the jokes themselves seem very fucking lazy to me in that one. I didn't like it as much. Got to watch Halloweenies from The Adventures of Pete and Pete. One of the greatest fucking Halloween specials of all time, in my opinion. And then last, but I don't know, maybe least, not least, because Saw 3Ds is on here. Wes Anderson released a bunch of like Roald Dahl adaptations, and I watched one called The Swan, and it had all of the aesthetical beauty that you expect from Wes Anderson, and it was fine. Like the story itself, to me, it was fine. It was kind of grim, and I don't know. I guess I just didn't feel a whole lot of ways about it. It's a short film, so there's just, it gives you what it gives you, and you take it or leave it. And I don't know. It was fine. It didn't leave a strong impression, is I guess where I'm landing on it. All right, that's enough talking for me. Somebody else take the wheel. Jesus,
right.
take the wheel.
Bomb?
Oh.
What you been watching, guy?
A lot. Been watching a lot. I did finish House of Usher on Netflix, and Flanagan is an unstoppable fucking machine. He's just churning out these incredible TV shows. Super entertaining. Really interesting how they take all these different Poe stories and blend them together in one cohesive way that doesn't feel like too forced or shoehorned. It feels natural enough. And overall, it creates a story that's like really, really fucking entertaining. And it's one of those things that like once you start watching, you just don't want to stop. You just want to keep, blasting through it.
It's Hill House, but Succession style.
It totally is. Yeah. That's a very accurate way to describe it. I also finally watched Bly Manor, which I slept on for years, 3 years, I think it's been out or so. Haunting of Bly Manor on Netflix. And I loved that. I thought it was fucking great, actually. I don't know why it took me so long to watch
shit on it, but it's good.
I loved it, dude.
It's a lesser out of the Flanaverse of TV for me, but that's an extremely high bar. That's a prestigious club to be in,
dude.
So,
yeah. I mean, if Bly Manor is your least favorite of his shows, like you're doing pretty fucking good for yourself.
Or he's just not for you in general. I gotta think.
Maybe. I thought it was fucking great. It's definitely like a slower, more traditional ghost story. It takes a little longer to get into, I think. It's not quite as bombastic, but I think it takes a lot of like very traditional, familiar ghost tropes that's recognizable to everybody, and they do a lot of like interesting things with them that you might not have seen before. The two kid actors are fucking great. Like they really carry their weight. Everybody does in the show, but like it's hard to find good kid actors.
That's so funny because like I agree, but like so much of the complaining was talking about annoying kids, and it was that it's like the Babadook conversation all over again. And I was like, I don't see why that's the problem based on the story.
Yeah.
Like,
and the emotional resonance of it just like really, really landed for me. I thought it was fantastic. I'm kind of sorry it took me so long to watch it.
Gonna have to take some time to cover some Flanagan, boys.
Dude, yeah. We probably should.
Sure.
I also watched Sunray's been showing a bunch of horror movies because it's October. I watched Jennifer's Body up there on the big screen for the first time, and it's super fun. And there's a lot of lines in that movie that like really land when you watch it with a crowd. Like people were busting a gut, and I was too. But like had lines that like aren't necessarily super funny when you're just watching it at the house like by yourself, but like really go over well with a crowd. It was a crowd pleaser. It was entertaining. Still good. Still like it. I also watched Dark Harvest, and this movie, like you can see, like it could have been so fucking good in like one of those movies that you want to watch every single October, every single Halloween, but it's just not there. The aesthetics are totally there. The story is interesting. It has some interesting things to say. The monster is cool. There's way more gore than I thought there was going to be, but it just doesn't really land the plane. I think it's probably worth a one-time watch. If you want to see something a little bit different, something that's not just like trick or treat and Halloween again. Throw it on. But I don't know that I'll revisit it personally. Finally, I didn't finish this yet, but I started When Evil Lurks on Shudder. It's a new release, just dropped this Friday. I forget the director's name. It's the same guy that directed Terrified, which we did an episode on a couple years ago, I think.
Oh,
yeah, because it's he's based out of Argentina.
I think Argentina. Yeah, it's a Spanish language movie, and I got about halfway through it.
Damien Rugna.
Yeah, I guess that's it. I I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, Argentinian director Damien Rugna.
This movie's definitely been getting some buzz on the festival circuit, and I haven't finished it, like I said, but so far I am thoroughly enjoying it. I am very excited to finish it, so I'll report back next week on that.
Cool.
Check it out. It's on Shudder. Juice, what you been watching?
I watched a newer film called Totally Killer. It's kind of like it's kind of a mix of things. Kind of a spoof on a slasher. Also got time travel in it. So, it was okay. It was a fun, light kind of watch. I'm pretty sure it's Halloween too in that film. Okay. It was a decent watch. Ghost Watch, gotta watch it. It's amazing. If you haven't seen it, I guess Halloween's over by now, but maybe you should still watch it. It's fantastic.
Worth it.
I went back Silence of the Lambs, which is a classic we haven't covered, and it's one of those ones that for some reason kept getting clips kept getting suggested to me on YouTube, and I would watch them, and I was like, I just need to watch this movie. It's been a while. I need to watch it, and it's fantastic. Just I don't even know how long it is because it just breezes by. I love just every scene is fantastic. The performances in that for everyone is really great. I started the new season of Loki. I kind of like slowly been going through that. It's mostly a kind of like I'm eating lunch, throw something on real quick, don't have to think about it, burn through like 15 minutes at a time. I think I'm somewhere maybe on episode 3 or something. It's okay. Marvel, it's having a hard time even pulling me in now. The good thing about Loki is it's got fun aesthetics. And Owen Wilson's in that, and so their dynamic together is pretty good, but I'm just having a hard time giving a shit about anything, to be honest. But like I said, it's a light lunch watch, so that's fine. Also, hadn't seen it in a while, but I did rewatch What We Do in the Shadows as well. So funny. I know I've been meaning to watch the show, which I haven't really. So I was like, let me go back and I'll rewatch the movie and maybe I'll get into the show soon or whatever. But it's a lot of fun, really funny, low budget. I really appreciate like what they're able to do with like almost nothing. So yeah, good on them. That's a fun movie. That's all I've been watching. Let's get into the voicemail segment.
Hotline Screams.
Hotline Screams.
Yeah, don't generify the names of our
voicemails.
These aren't generic.
That's
no one does it like we do it. Nobody.
See? Yeah, if you're listening and want to call and leave a voicemail to be featured on next week's show, hit us up at 904-638-3231. We got 2 voicemails this week. First up, we're hearing from our boy Matt. Let's hear what he's got to say.
Hey, Straight Showing crew. This is Bridge Troll Matt. I'm calling in about your prompts about the Halloween specials or shorts that you grew up with. The one I particularly sticks out in my head is the Garfield Halloween Adventure, where him and Odie dressed up as pirates. I just recently rewatched it on YouTube, and I was surprised about how not scary it was, because when I was a kid, this fucking thing terrified me. When it starts, there is a scary clown on TV, and then Garfield and Odie inspect other trick-or-treaters and find out that they're real monsters at the end, under their mask. And then later, towards the end, they're actually attacked by real ghost pirates. Anyway, if you haven't checked it out, like I said, it's on YouTube. I would definitely go watch it. It's only like 25 minutes long. Real short, real quick, and it sets some good Halloween tones. Anyway, y'all have a good day. Bye.
Nice. I haven't seen that one.
It sounded familiar as he was describing it. These kind of pictures were popping up in my mind. I was like, I think I have seen that, but it's been a while.
I've definitely seen it mentioned on lists and stuff like that, but I've never seen it. Bob?
Yeah, I might have seen it as a kid, but I don't remember it. Probably worth a rewatch, sounds like.
All right.
Yeah.
Sounds rad. I love a good ghost pirate. The fog calls.
Hell yeah. Thanks for the tip there, Matt. We love a good tip. Thank you.
Sure.
Very weird emphasis choice, but okay.
We're not letting you direct any movies, Bob.
That's fine. I wouldn't know what to do anyways. Next up, we're going to hear from our boy Hugh. Let's hear what Hugh Janus has to say.
Yeah, it's Hugh calling. A couple of shows ago, Randy threw up the Janus signal, wondering about the Pennsylvania 65000. Just so happens, Glenn Miller did that song. He was born about 50 miles from where I live. Glenn Miller was in the big band era. He was probably the most popular big band leader that there was. And Pennsylvania 65000 was a phone number. The song was released in 1940, and it had nothing to do with the state of Pennsylvania. It was the phone number for the Pennsylvania Hotel in New York. Last time I called, the phone call dropped out, so I have my set to finish. I'm so old that when I learned my ABCs, there was just A, B, and C. I'm so old that when I was a kid, Crayola crayons only came in black and white. And I'm so old that I can remember when the Dead Sea was just sick. I had a question for you guys. I've watched quite a bit here lately of the Japanese and Korean horror movies. I've watched The Grudge, The Ring, both of the originals and the American versions. I've watched Train to Busan. I've watched The Wailing. I've watched a couple others. And I was just wondering your guys' thoughts on, it seems to me like comparing the American versions and the originals, that it just seems that the Asian versions of those movies, that there's far more invested in the characters. Like you get to the end of the movie, it seems like you care way more about the characters than you do the American versions. And I was just wondering what your thoughts were. I'm assuming it's cultural difference. And I was also wondering what other suggestions you guys might have for some of the Japanese or Korean horror movies that are your favorites. And also, what American horror movie would you like to see remade, done in the Japanese, Korean style? If there's an American horror movie that you think might be improved by their style. Thanks. Keep on chilling.
Man, he's bringing the heat with these jokes, man.
Killing it.
Fantastic.
Thanks. Also, great information.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. That I know of Glenn Miller vaguely, but yeah, I would have never known that was a song title based on I had no idea. But great, I'm glad we mystery solved. Really, I guess we could have Googled that, but why Google when you can put up the Janus single? Am I right?
It's much better. Much better.
It's much more efficient, as we know. Let's see what else. What else do we cover there? There were some questions about Asian horror films of some variety. If you're going into Asian horror, like it sounds like you've done a lot of the 2000 stuff, a lot of like the heavier ones. I think you should go for the fucking bizarre, unique wonderland that is Hausu. That film, Hausu. That movie is fucking bananas. I love that movie. There's no other movie like it. Which is it's so like engaging that you really just can't look away. It's just a kind of a perfect movie in a lot of ways, but it's very bizarre and strange. So I recommend that. Not really, not scary necessarily, but it's just good. It's just its own fucking thing, man. If you're going to those heavy hitters, this is a nice change of pace for that. I also think that if you're going to remake an American film, overseas, maybe in Japan or something, to make it better, the first and foremost film that I would choose is Godzilla 1998. That seems like something that would be done way better in Japan.
No way. Impossible.
Oh boy.
Sir.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Hateful words.
How about you guys?
If you're looking for like some more Asian horror movies, one that I feel gets slept on a little bit that I really love is called Pulse. I know I mentioned it before on the podcast. But it's another like early 2000s J horror movie, and it's got a similar vibe to The Ring and The Grudge. But it's a great ghost story. I just really think it's fantastic. It's beautifully shot. It's a really fucking cool movie, and I highly recommend that if you want a little more J horror. And if I guess to answer your second question, an American movie that would be cool to see through like an Asian lens, South Korean or Japanese or whatever. Maybe like something that's like very classically American, just see how they would translate it. Like if you were going to take like a classic slasher, like a Friday the 13th, like how would they tackle something like that in Japan? I think that could be kind of cool to see. Just really change it up a little bit.
I thought you were going to go with like a Frankenstein or like something like that.
That could also
like
be
a
cool.
true like Universal monster or something like Invisible Man. Let's see what they do with that.
Yeah.
Juice.
Yeah, so one that popped up recently because Nicole did her cast on The Exorcist Believer, and so I was like, oh, Nicole, some of the things she was saying there, I was like, Nicole, have you seen The Medium? Because she was mentioning like, I really want to see a film that has an exorcist that doesn't have anything to do with the Catholic Church or the church at all. So I would recommend The Medium. I think that's a really fun exorcist film that has nothing to do with the traditional kind of church stuff. The power of Christ compels you. Definitely check that one out. Japanese, I would say One Cut of the Dead. That is one that watch that. I don't want to say anything
Also
about
a
it.
change
Just
of
watch
pace.
it. Yeah, it's totally different. A lot of fun. I also echo Randy. Housekeeping is amazing. Korean wise, what is Korean? I watched
Ganjin?
Yeah, that one is good. That's a newer one. An older one that I watched, it's more of a summer watch but it's nautical and like kind of island based, which is fun. We were talking about Island of Lost Souls recently and how that's like not a horror genre we get a lot these days, the kind of like haunted island, but it's called Eo Island. It came out in 1977. It might be available on YouTube. It's pretty easily accessible, I think, but that was a lot of fun. That was a new one for me that I watched this year, and really cool tropical kind of island vibes, nautical horror. Like I said, probably kind of got some Wicker Man vibes, like OG Wicker Man vibes, honestly. So I'd recommend.
I want to build off
one.
something you said real quick. Oh, I thought you were done. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
You had mentioned like Nicole had talked about movies that were exorcisms that didn't involve Christianity or Catholicism or involved a different religion altogether. The Incantation from 2022, a found footage horror, which I greatly liked, is a Taiwanese film. I would recommend that. It definitely has like a little bit of the possession issue going throughout that one. So I think that's a good one. And it's definitely my memory is that there was no Christianity involved.
Well, that's interesting.
No, this is Taiwanese, not Taiwan.
Oh, okay. I think The Medium might be too. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I'll check into it. It's okay. That's very interesting, huh? Okay, I didn't realize that.
That should take you over throughout the rest of the week there, Hugh, James.
Yeah.
And then call back in. Let us know what you like.
As far as like remakes go, I kind of, going off what Bob was saying, a Japanese version of like Freddy Krueger would be super wild.
I thought the same thing. Yeah, that would be fun. I don't know.
Yeah.
Beetlejuice done Bollywood style.
Oh, damn. Yeah.
Dude, that would be fucking fire.
Yeah.
That would
kind of rule. I said that and I heard it and I was like, I need that to exist, actually.
I wonder if it does, because
maybe. It might.
I mean, I don't know.
It's certainly an unofficial one might exist.
Yeah. That could be cool as shit. I'd rather see that than the Tim Burton sequel, to be honest with you. Give me the bottom.
Oh, I keep forgetting that's happening.
It is, yeah.
We're gonna we're
gonna cover it and just
sandworms
again, and
probably, yeah.
Anyway, let's not go there yet.
Yeah.
We're not there yet. Let's not go there yet.
Thanks for calling, Hugh. It's always good to hear from you, man. Hope you had a really happy Halloween. Again, if you guys are listening and want to call and leave a voicemail for next week's show, hit us up at 904-638-3231. Do you guys have a prompt you want to throw out for next week's show?
I like the prompt we just got.
Yeah.
What American film would you like to see remade elsewhere? Not even necessarily just in Asian countries. Let's just say anywhere else in the movie making world that you think might have a distinctive take on a specific story. I think that could be cool as fuck.
Yeah, I like that.
And thank Janus. The Janus signal pays off every time.
Providing us with a prompt. Love to see it. Cool. Yeah, call in and let us know. We're going to be back next week with a brand new show. As always, we're going to be talking about the winner of the November poll, which at this current point in time does seem to be Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. So we'll be talking about that from 1978. Slam your eyeballs into Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Get ready for next week's show. Until then, you can find us on all the social media outlets. Just search Straight Chilling Podcast and we will pop right up. If you want to join in our daily Slack channel conversations, hit us up on one of those social media outlets and I'll send you a link so you can join in on the fun. And until next week, as always, all you mother truckers, please keep chilling.
You know what? I'm the biggest star here, man. That's the way it is.